Hi, welcome to Local Flavor. I'm Deborah Anderson and we're back in Moreland at Aunt Faye's Community Kitchen. And today I'm gonna make for you a couple of my favorite appetizers to make for parties. And the first one I'm gonna start on is called Ginger Chicken Rumaki. And the first thing I need to do is start my bacon. I'm gonna give it a pre-broil. It will not finish cooking, but it will get it started so that it will be a little better. And I wanna start that first so it has plenty of time to cool because I'm gonna have to wrap them around some chicken later and I don't want it to burn me. So I've cut my package of bacon in half and I'm gonna bake it in the oven under the broiler for just a few minutes. And then while it's broiling, I'll get the chicken prepared. Now, if you haven't heard of Rumaki, it was extremely popular back in the 40s, is about when they started it, and it became very popular at a place called Trader Vic's. So, some people say it's Chinese or Polynesian. A lot of people think Trader Vic's made it up. In any case, I think the original one has chicken livers in it, and we're gonna use chicken breast. Two reasons. I don't like chicken liver, and another is that my friend Marty loves chicken liver so much, I hate to use it when he's always looking for it. So I'll save it for him. I'll probably just do a half of this thing of bacon. So it takes up a lot of room. Okay. Into the oven we go. Just for a few minutes. And in the meanwhile, we got to get our chicken ready, which I have it over here. It's about 12 ounces of chicken breast. I've already trimmed the gross stuff off and weighed it. And I'm going to cut them into about 1-inch cubes. It's 12 ounces is about 1 1/3 chicken breast, depending on, they're all a little different sized. I don't think it has to be exact anyway, just a couple chicken breasts would be great. And we're gonna marinate them, so that's why I'm putting them in a bowl. I'm making them into about 1-inch cubes. These are pretty big. Wonder if I should go smaller. Yeah, I think that's too big. The other thing we're gonna wrap around with the bacon, the chicken and a piece of water chestnut. And then we're gonna infuse them with some Polynesian, Asian-inspired flavors. And you serve them on a toothpick, that's why they're fun for appetizers. I had them at a party once. I had enough left over that I did eat them for a meal. Just, if you put enough of them on your plate, it's a meal. At this party, I had a bacon station. So I had the ginger chicken rumaki. I also had a pineapple rumaki. And then bacon wrapped smokies, which everybody makes. Okay, so there's that, and we're gonna add some honey. I need about 1/4 cup. I'm gonna estimate this, because I make this quite a bit. That's about 1/4 cup, and it doesn't have to be that exact. Then a couple of teaspoons, where did I put them? Pardon me, tablespoons of soy sauce. Don't worry if you get too much. The original recipe has teaspoons. I didn't think it was enough at all, so I just kept going. Now we need about 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. I'm gonna use fresh ginger because I think it really gives it an extra punch of Asian flavor. So this is called ginger root. And I'm using a microplane to get it really small. You don't ever, I probably told you this, but it's worth repeating. Never, ever want to eat the ginger root plain. If I'm making it in a dish, sometimes I just cut it really big so it's easy to see and pick out. Okay, a clove of garlic. So this is fairly simple because that's it for the marinade. Now I want this to soak a little bit. So I'm going to put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. When we come back, I'll wrap them up and get them back in the oven, and we'll start our second appetizer.
Western Auction and Real Estate LLC is ready to travel to you. Their team includes auctioneers and real estate specialists that will exceed your expectations. They offer experience in agriculture real estate, commercial and residential sales, and farm equipment auctions. Plus, they conveniently travel to your location. And it doesn't stop there. Visit westernauctionandrealestate.com today to shop their online equipment auctions too. For professionalism from concept to completion, it's Western Auction and Real Estate.
Here in the Heartland, we make things homemade with precision and care. Robin Insurance is no different. Their family creates tailored plans to keep your family safe. They are a family-owned and operated agency that also offers commercial, farm, and crop insurance. With quick, fair claims, your matter will be held professionally and with excellent customer service. Robin Insurance, the corner post of insurance since 1936. See their ad in the Nex-Tech directory.
Welcome back to Local Flavor. I have had the chicken in the fridge marinating for about a half an hour, and we have our bacon pre-cooked and cooled down. I am taking water chestnuts and cutting them in half. I'm going to try some cut the other way in half. No, I don't want them so thick. And I'm going to wrap each piece of bacon around a chunk of chicken and a half of a water chestnut. And then wrap them up, pretty gooey, gross. Stick a toothpick through to hold it together. And then I'm putting them on a sheet. We'll broil them when I get them all done. And then we'll have our little tiki party favors. My other appetizer is kind of Mexican, so I guess I didn't stick with one theme today. Although those are two of my favorite kinds of food. Well, are you going to cooperate or not? Oh no. I didn't cut the bacon in half exactly, so you might notice that. I had to do the bacon in 2 sections in the oven, so I ran out of room. Here we go. Oh, I wanted to tell you that I did get this recipe from my friend Joanne, and where she got it from was her daughter lives in Boca Raton, Florida, and she joined the junior league there, and they have a really nice cookbook that they have to sell when they join the junior league. So this is from the Junior League of Boca Raton cookbook. And it had, it's a really good cookbook. I don't know if you can get it locally since it's from Florida, but it was so awesome because not only did it have really cool recipes, but it had lots of ideas for entertaining, how to set things up. Really neat cookbook. And everything, it was mostly party food. Everything looked delicious and fancy. So it's hard to feel that these are fancy when your hands are swimming in chicken juice, bacon grease, and all this stuff. But I'm sure they'll look really elegant when we're done. And I wanted to give props to Joanne for sharing her recipe with me. Okay, just 2 more. I might have to put a couple of pieces of chicken. It's hard to exactly know. Last one. Oh no, I feel like you're so lonesome in there. There's one extra water chestnut too. I'll just throw them on they'll cook in bacon grease if I throw them on the sheet, so that might be enough to make them delicious. Okay, into the oven we go with these. And I'm immediately going to start on our chorizo cheese dip. These need to broil until the chicken is cooked through. Luckily, I have a few extra pieces of chicken, so I'll know a little better when it's done. The recipe says 4 to 5 minutes, but with this oven, I'm pretty sure it'll take a little bit longer than that. Okay, so here we have it for our chorizo cheese dip. This is one of my favorites. The first thing I'm going to do is start with the onions. I'm going to sweat them out in some butter. I need about a half a cup of onion. I started chopping, got distracted. So while the butter melts, I'll get the rest of my onion chopped up. Let me see if that's enough. I don't want to get any on the floor. Have you ever lost a piece of onion and you cannot find it? And you smell onion for hours. Once I was being driven crazy by the smell of onion for literally hours. I thought that it was on the bed. I thought I cleaned the whole sink, the whole kitchen, took the trash out, changed my sheets. I thought it was like somehow on the sheets, and I could not find it until I went to get dressed for bed, and it was in my shirt. So that is the worst. It was me. How embarrassing. Anyway, so I try to be careful. How'd it get in my shirt anyway? We don't even want to know. So this will have to sweat out for a few minutes. I'd say 2 or 3 minutes. So while I'm sweating those out, I'll go ahead and get the rest of my ingredients ready. You're a noisy little pan today. I'm going to move this out of my way. As soon as these are sweated out, then the next thing we'll add is some chorizo. Now, this chorizo is different than what I usually buy, so I'm hoping it will turn out the same. It still has the look though. See how chorizo looks kind of like red clay, like the stuff you used in your 6th grade art class? It's got so heavily seasoned. So we will add the chorizo to it, and then I like that cooked pretty well. It's amazing because it looks like paste, but when you cook it, it actually looks more like hamburger, kind of. Usually it's pork. I accidentally grabbed beef chorizo. Cross our fingers, it works as good. Then after I do the chorizo, I'm going to put in a little bit of flour and make a roux. So I'll go ahead and get those measured. 2 tablespoons of flour. Let me get a prep bowl. And then we'll need to cook that roux down quite a bit. Then we'll start adding some milk. I've got that ready. Then some cream cheese and cheddar cheese. Then at the very end, we'll add some green chilies. Then I'm going to keep some out without tomatoes. I usually like to add a little can of Rotel at the end too. This is not Rotel brand, but tomatoes and green chilies I like. So we'll do that. And the salt, the recipe says to put it at the end, but I'm going to put it in now to give the onions a little flavor, and it really helps to sweat them out a lot better. So don't let me put it in again. That's the decision I made. So we've been going here a few minutes. When they're translucent, I'm gonna go ahead and add the chorizo. And then we'll take a little break because it will take about 5 minutes to cook down that chorizo. And I will drain off, I'll probably drain, before we come back, I'll get it drained down so there's not very much oil left in here. But I want you to see how this comes out like a paste. Ugh. Oh, it already smells awesome. Now, you're supposed to cut it into little squares. I'm going to use my handy dandy mix and chop. It'll do the same thing. Look how orange it is. That's why you'll notice later, even though the base of this cheese sauce is milk and cream cheese, it's already going to look like it has real cheese, cheddar cheese in it, because this orange seasonings in here really color it up. But what's nice about using the cream cheese and the roux and the cheddar is that it doesn't get that skin on top like when you use the Velveeta, and I love Velveeta cheese too, but this never gets that skin on top. It stays nice and fluid. So that's good for a party when you have it's setting out for a while. So this will take about 5 minutes. Let's use this time to take our break, and when we come back, we'll be ready to taste it.
Make moving and storing your home or business easy with storage solutions of Hayes and Victoria. With 2 facilities, they can store anything from antiques to automobiles and everything in between. Interior units for items needing special care. Drive-up units of all sizes, perfect for home or business. And outside storage for trucks, boats, and RVs. As an authorized U-Haul dealer, they have everything for your next move, across town or across the country. Storage solutions of Hayes and Victoria, making moving and storing easy.
Your house is more than just a house. It's a home for your family to grow. It's a place where you feel the most comfortable and can be yourself. Shop at Paul's Furniture Company in Selden so your family can select the perfect pieces for all the rooms in your house. With over 17,000 square feet of selection, they are sure to have the styles that will please everyone, even the kids. Visit Paul's Furniture Company in Selden, where they'll help you feel at home. Visit us online at paulsfurnitureco.com.
Welcome back to Local Flavor. I have got the chorizo cooked down. It didn't bulk up as much as the brand I usually use, but it does have a good flavor. I took a lot of the grease off. This one was harder to drain than the usual kind because it didn't bulk up. It was hard to tell the difference, so I had to make it a judgment call. But I'm going to add some flour to make our roux, and there should be plenty of grease in there. This needs to cook down about a minute or 2 just to get the flour taste out of it. But this will help to thicken our cheese sauce. Oh, that's looking a lot more clumped up now. Oh, I think that is greasy. After that cooks off, it's driving me crazy. My handle has a little grease on it. Then I'll start adding the milk, and that will need to thicken up. So while that's thickening up, I will take our chicken rumaki out and start to drain them. Don't make noise. Okay, milk. I'm going to pour it in pretty slowly. This is about 1.5 cups of milk. See how it already looks like cheese because of all those spices? Oh my goodness. It will give you the suggestion that the entire thing is melted cheese, but that wouldn't cook up very good, so this will make it a lot creamier. Oh, that's thickening up nice. Oh, this is pretty fast. I usually need about 3 or 4 minutes to thicken that up. So while that is thickening up, Let me turn down the temp a teeny tiny. And I'm going to check on that rumaki. I'm not using my usual whisk because usually the chunks are so big I didn't want them stuck in the whisk I usually use, so these are easier to get the chunks out of. So look at my rumakis. They are swimming in bacon, so we need to drain them. And we'll let them cool a little bit before we taste them. Oh my goodness, do you know what I should have done? Here's a little tip. I should have soaked my toothpicks in water so that they didn't burn like this. And the rack in there is a little higher than mine at home, so it's a little closer to the fire when you're broiling. Oh, that one's a little scary. Look at that, bad one. I just want them all to be off so that they will have a chance to not be so greasy. Oh, look at that, look at that. Nice. Okay, set you aside for a while. And let's start adding our cream cheese because that thickened up pretty quickly. I'm going to put it in about a tablespoon at a time. And let that melt in. I'll tell you what is not good about this whisk is it won't stay in the pan, so it's making a big mess. Nice. Look at that. Get creamy. Then once this is all melted in, we'll start adding the cheese. And one secret to adding the cheese is that you only want to put in about a 1/4 cup at a time. And this keeps it from seizing up. Okay. I feel safe with that. What a mess. I do love this dip. I just want to make sure this is all melted in before we start with the other cheese. I tried this dip the first time because with all the new Mexican restaurants that have been coming up around here, what I've found my favorite menu items to be, they'll have chorizo in them in some way. Sometimes it's just on your refried beans on the side, but it just gives a huge punch of flavor. And usually, like if you get it on your beans, it's just like a tablespoon of it, and it just really adds so much flavor. So I have started to look. A lot of times you can get something with the chicken and the cheese and chorizo. Those are my favorite. And if you get like the molcajete that has all of the meats in it, it will have some too. I don't know how, because I think that chorizo takes so much longer to cook than like shrimp. So I wonder if they cook all the meats separately before they put them in. One more little chunk. Wow, that's dark. Now, I'm getting anxious to try it, so I want to dump it all in at once, but it's really important that I let the 1/4 cup melt before I add another 1/4 cup. Whoops, that was probably a 1/3. I only need 6 ounces of cheese. This is an 8-ounce bag. Nobody complains if you add more cheese. Well, I can get the rest of this added. And then I need to put in the green chilies. And I'll separate out just a little so we can taste it without the tomato. Oh, that was probably a half of a cup at once. If this seizes up, it's all my fault. Wow. And I think I probably could have got more grease out of that. You only want about a tablespoon left. And since you start out with a tablespoon of butter, you take quite a bit off. But this chorizo was just a little different. Mine that I normally use, I get it at Aldi's, if you must know, and this one came from Dillon's. It just is easier to tell the difference because it chunks up quite a bit more. And I usually get pork, and this was a beef, so that could be the difference too. Okay, nicely melted. Just need a whole can of diced green chilies. And then I'll separate out just a teeny bit. I'll have a big chunk of chorizo flavor in it, so we can taste it plain. Would not hurt to let this cook down a little more. Whoa, I am the greatest. Okay, so I put it in a can of Rotel just because I love it. Diced green chilies and tomatoes. And you see how the orange keeps coming to the side? I really should have gotten more grease out. Okay though, I think I can taste it. I'll see if I seized up the cheese. This chorizo, though different than I expected it, is actually punching with flavor in there. That is delicious. It's an extra spicy chorizo, I think. That's nice. I'm gonna turn off the oven, and then I wanna taste my little Rumakis. I think they've cooled off enough. Let me get a small one. The bacon is cooked through now, and the chicken. Let me see how that looks. I love the Asian flavor, and bacon makes everything better. Wish you could be here, but I'll see you next time on Local Flavor.